What's up, guys? It's your girl, Mikkel Rose, and welcome to an amazing episode of Iconix Radio. This interview is going to be fire. It's going to be deep. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be informative. It's going to be a whole lot of stuff. And this is my brother, my amazing friend, an amazing mentor. He's known me since I was, 19 years old. Oh my God. It's about to be good, y'all. We have the amazing Morgan. I just call him Morgan, y'all. That's what I know him as. Morgan is in the building, y'all.
Thank you. Be here.
Thank you for being here. Oh my God.
Inviting me.
Let's do this.
All right.
You've known me since I was 19.
Yep.
Long time.
Yep.
We go way back, like 4 flats.
Yep.
4 flats, not even on the Cadillac. We talking about like on a coupe de ville. Coupe. Mm-hmm. We do music together. We've done music together for a long time.
Yep.
You're a live musician. You're a bass player.
I do that too.
You do that too. You do that too. And so many other things. But we have you here for a very special reason. Yamo. Yamo organization. All right, we're gonna get into that. But first off, let's talk about Morgan.
All right.
Where are you from?
Baltimore.
Listen. If you say Baltimore, you're not from Baltimore. You know. I think I used to always say, could you say that again? Where you from? And where you from again?
Baltimore.
What part?
Northeast.
Northeast. Okay. So shout out to Baltimore. All y'all watching. What was it like growing up in Baltimore?
It was great because it was 70s. So we had that little era of time that, after our leaders got slain.
Yeah.
That we had some sort of a seeming reprieve. And so a lot of the working class people at the time, the chosen working class people, were our people. And so we moved forward, and that was right about the time I was coming of age. So, I'm about maybe 11, 12, and, moving into the 70s, Sly and the Family Stone.
Come on.
Larry Graham.
This Iconix Radio, so we do music over here. Look at.
I'm trying to say I was about to go way back there.
Come on, let's go.
But I'm just saying, all of those things, kind of paved the way.
Yes.
For kind of an inner revolution.
Okay.
And then certainly an emergence of maybe a new type of young man, a young woman, going out. Maybe thinking, things might not be as bad, or we can transcend the color thing or whatever.
Right.
So it was, real interesting times. But at the same time, moving forward, it always amazes me how music can open up lots of doors.
It does.
And as it had to be, it caused me to travel very early. Caused me to go from being, and I have the same kind of close story as Cecil. I was a boy soprano too.
You what?
Yeah.
Now you ain't tell me that.
Yeah.
Because when we on stage, you be like, I'm good. You be in the tenor. And you will. You know what? You will hear some alto every now and then. Okay. I'm here for it.
Yeah. So that was it, and then moving on forward, I picked up the bass, then like the classical stuff, or those, or the culture of people.
Right.
And so I kind of, took on to what was happening at the time, which was funk, which was jazz.
Yeah.
And then jazz was kind of fusing with funk.
Yeah.
At the same time. And so you had, crazy players out there like Return to Forever and Stanley Clarke and Chick Corea and
wow.
Herbie Hancock and all of these pioneers that started bridging the gap between what was considered jazz and what was considered the new age funk that was happening at the same time.
Right.
And, and just, experiencing P-Funk All-Stars and seeing just, how 20 people come together on one song.
Right.
On stage.
Big facts. So true. That's crazy. But musically, it just shows that when you have that many people, it's not always chaotic.
No.
What is it?
If there's agreement.
There you go. So what it sounds like is growing up, for you, it was a lot of music around. That's what you were always drawn to, was music.
Absolutely. Backyard bands was like part of the life,
I love
Everybody was playing the instrument. It was so interesting too. Mm-hmm. It seems like it's an era of time that never revisited itself, but it's like literally I remember at least 4 or 5 kids in a two block radius that were playing instruments seriously.
Wow.
And backyard band battles were a regular thing, or basement band battles or whatever were a regular thing.
Huh.
So.
Was this something, so when you saw these backyard battles and these bands, obviously you was a part of you was on somebody's stage at that time.
I was actually, I felt like I was retarded, I guess, in a certain way because of growing up being a classical musician.
Okay.
We were always taught to read first.
Uh-huh.
And if it isn't written, then it isn't worth being played.
Ooh.
And particularly when you're talking about comparing it to other music. And so the Euro way was kind of seen as cultured, and everything else was just, whatever the subculture says is great.
Interesting. So I think you're giving me some good stuff. Let's go a little bit deeper. Now, Now, you're in Baltimore. The north side or east side?
Northeast side.
Northeast side.
I can't even say it in a way that it was hard. Now I went through there recently, and it's it's pretty hard, but it wasn't hard back then. So I'm not even gonna try to pretend like
that's good. That's good.
I wasn't.
That's good because
I was a corny kid.
You was a corny kid.
Very corny.
Corny kids are cool.
Corny kid.
You were surrounded around music.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go a little bit deeper. You have music all around you. Mm-hmm. You have all of these things that are happening in the world. Mm-hmm. And somehow you start to mesh a solution with the music as you got older. Like growing up, you kind of brought music and culture. You started bringing it together somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what was high school like?
High school is just understanding that being a young man and being able to command certain things that we thought was important, like being able to get paid, let's say, $200 and $300 a week to play music 2 and 3 nights out of the week at the same time as you go into high school. At the same time you go into high school, sometimes you're doing other people's proms where, I'm a junior and I'm doing other people's senior prom. It just made me feel like I was empowered by something.
Wow.
And that even though like I said, I feel like I was kind of lame because I was still trying to learn relearn music again in an oral type of way or an experiential type of way, as opposed to just mechanically reading or mechanically, matching notes.
I'm gonna go back. When did you start learning to play off of sheet? Like, when did you start learning music off of sheet?
When I was 5.
Wow. Hold on. Whoa. And what instrument were you playing?
Piano.
Now, Morgan, you never told me you played the piano. Now, really?
I don't play it.
Oh my gosh. What? So you play sheet piano? Okay. Okay. You did. Mm-hmm. So then, now, when did you pick up the bass?
When I stopped wanting to be around, it was a cultural thing.
Okay.
And because I had friends of mine, and I actually attended certain types of camps.
Okay.
That were music camps that were for boy choir schools.
Wow.
And in those music camps, I found that there were a lot of predatory type of people, kind of same type of people as a Catholic priest, if you understand what I'm saying.
For sure.
And
wow.
And it just the culture did not call to me anymore.
Got you. Totally understand.
It was difficult for me to relay that to my parents, but having being 14, 15, I had a little bit more testosterone in me, so I could do a little bit of rebelling.
Right. It was simple. I ain't going back.
Right. So they were nice to oblige me, so I could bring my band in our basement. So they said, "Well, if you're going to be playing, then you bring them boys in here, so we can at least hear and see what they are about."
Wow.
And so I would bring different bands in until I got into a band that was working on a regular basis.
Nice. Then y'all started getting booked.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. So you made the decision because obviously it wasn't the right and safe environment for a child to be in. And you, as a young teenager, you was like, I'm not gonna be quiet. I ain't flowing with this. No. Mama, daddy, we can go ahead and cut this off. Right. So your parents then said, well, since you don't want to go there and you're gonna do music because this is what you were passionate about, go downstairs in the basement and bring them boys in here,
right? And
let me make sure y'all y'all doing what y'all. Okay.
Right.
So then from there, y'all start getting booked.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I brought in some guys that were older than me.
Nice.
They were about 5 years, 6 years old, but back then that's a lot older than you because
Facts.
I'm only 15, 16.
And
21-year-old guys, and they, a lot of them were combinations. A couple of Italian dudes.
Nice.
One redneck that says he's a redneck. From the other side of the river, Middle River.
For sure.
And then a couple of other brothers that came in later on horns and percussion.
A multicultural band you put together.
And I didn't know. I did not put that together. They had that concept together. I was joining them, and they conveniently used my home. No, I'm not saying that. No, wasn't that good?
Okay. I'm still learning. I love that, though. Yeah. But you all conjoined together.
Yeah.
Started making money while you were in high school.
Yeah, while I'm in high school.
I love that.
That's right.
So then you graduate. You're still doing music. So let's talk about where you are right now, because right now Yamo is something very serious and something very dear to your heart, and it also reflects your life.
Yeah, it does.
It reflects your life, and I love that. So let's talk about Yamo. What does Yamo stand for?
Youth Alternative Media Organization.
Okay. Youth Alternative Media Organization. And what's your mission?
The goal is just to provide a platform for young people. At one time, earlier in time, I perceived a time like now.
Yeah.
But then it was maybe not as multidimensional as it is as far as in an audio video perspective and the media perspective. So the idea was to some sort of way in a very intentional type of way give young people kind of like a podcast-ish mentality.
Okay.
Where they can table their concerns, and they can work it into whether it be activism or whether it be production oriented, so that they can promote themselves.
Wow. So basically, creating a platform where the youth can be open and adventurous to find their niche, like
an alternative media source for them.
All types of media, right?
Right. All types of media. All types of media. It was interesting though, because it was only a couple of years where people approached me. It's like, why did you use the word alternative? I was like, okay. Maybe thinking it was kind of pandering towards a sexual gender type of thing. And it's like, no. It's just an alternative way of presenting themselves in a way that's non-filtered by other entities that want to control them. So allowing them to speak from their own creative genius.
So true. And because I think that that's really important, because kids in between the age of 3 and I think it was 3 and 7, 3 and 5 or 3 and 7, they pretty much tell you like what they want to do. It's like, look, 5 no, I literally want to play the drums. Like, go outside, pick up some sticks, and you just sitting on the curb and like pick up the fire truck. No, I want to beat on something.
Right.
So I love that that alternative, because it's open. It's a broad foundation. Pick somewhere to go, right?
Exactly.
So, who inspired you to actually start this organization?
Well, it was actually my life. In different transitions as a young brother, trying to juggle home life.
Yeah.
The hopes for returning back to road life, and a 9-to-5.
Yeah.
And then all of the things that go along with the downward spiral of breaking up of relationships and things like that. Mm-hmm. Being separated from your children. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. During periods of times where things were very difficult.
Right.
And then when you meet with your children, it's almost like you're meeting with people that are in prison or something. I mean, it's just the handoff and all that other type of stuff. It just kind of moved me. After that, I just kind of made some decisions to work with a brother down in Texas with his ministry, which is interesting because this was the same brother who had actually helped me understand my relationship, my spiritual relationship with the Lord.
Wow.
On the road, actually. And it was actually on a bus. And this brother is very instrumental in my life and just kind of like helping me to direct my spiritual understanding,
right,
and identity,
right.
And so it was really it was just kind of a walk for a cleansing walk. Okay, I'll help you with your ministry, and meanwhile get a little cleansing. And when I get down here, it was in Waco, Texas. We went to a conference, and one of those powerful conferences, like T.D. Jakes type of conference. It was a male conference.
Nice.
And seeing, I had already gone to the Million Man March before.
Nice.
And going to that, the original Million Man March was just amazing because, like I said, you are with literally 1 million men over a course of 10 blocks.
Wow.
Wall-to-wall men, and we stood there. I know I stood there for probably about 10 hours.
Wow.
And nobody wanted to move. They passed baskets for, taking offer and everything. Nobody wanted to dare touch any of the money. Wow. At the end, when they left, nobody wanted to leave a piece of trash on the ground.
Really? See, they don't talk about that part. They don't talk about that part. I love that.
So that moved me. Mm-hmm. And so when we got down there, maybe a couple months, he said, hey, there's a men conference we'll go to. This guy, T.D. Jakes. I heard about T.D. Jakes when I was on the road, but he was up in West Virginia at the time.
Okay.
And he was, shaking up stuff. But we went to the conference. Same thing. Thousands of men, all in this healing type of environment.
Yeah.
So not too long after we get back to the hotel room, now he's, bathed in tears and everything, and we're talking it through, and then, we made this pact. And it's like, I'm going to help you with this, If you take care of another person's children, I promise you, God will take care of your children so that y'all can make an exchange.
Oh,
so
that's
that,
deep.
So I was like, okay. And not too long after that, we developed a program. It's just, picking up boys, doing work projects, feeding in on their responses, watching their development in school.
How would you pick these young men to work with?
Well, Waco is a city, but it's not the biggest.
Okay.
So it has a school district, and there's certain school districts that have certain type of marginalized children, obviously, that go to ISS or even worse.
Oh, in school suspension, for y'all that don't know.
Right.
Now, back in the day, let me tell you about ISS. Now, you don't end up there for being quiet. And you don't end up there for answering the question. You end up there in school suspension, okay? It's when you're suspended, but you're in school.
Right,
okay.
You want.
So, I'm just saying, shout out to all my ISS, alumni out there. I am an original ISS alumni. Probably started the whole program. Okay, I'm gonna be good. But yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that. You took me back. But the schools that have those type of programs and things of that nature, whatever you want to call it, is that how you target?
Well, it was at that time there was this kind of a doubling down, I guess, politically.
Okay.
Of how hard Democrats and how hard Republicans can be on crime. Okay. Of course, that means our people. And so, therefore, in our schools, it was to a point where, if children were found truant in certain periods of time, they would get written up on a ticket of $250, up to $300 parents had to pay if they didn't go to court. Then all of a sudden, now their child is going to juvie.
Yep.
Juvie, one night at juvie used to equal at one period of time. It's a possibility that if your boy came in here talking crazy, one of the guards would turn his back while another boy raped him.
Okay.
That happened so much that nobody talks about. I knew about it. I heard about it down there. I heard some guards actually joke about it. Brothers thinking that it's so cool. I showed him something, that type of stuff.
Okay.
And it was during that period of time of making that I started writing some things. And I was just writing. And after maybe 4 or 5 pages or whatever, my boy had saw it. He said, "Hey, man, this is something, And he knew some people from Baylor, and they looked at it. This is something. And
Baylor
University.
Wow, okay.
And they said, well, why don't you reformat this into this template, which was a template for the actual proposal.
Okay.
For the RFP for the enterprise zone empowerment community, something like that, easy.
Okay.
And sure enough, in less than a few months, they were awarded the largest grant that was ever awarded to the so-called black institutions.
Wow.
Through the faith base.
Okay.
And then it enabled us to kind of, to target the young men like that. So that my concern was that would be on me if I didn't. And not only that, but I think about my sons and how powerless I felt with them. Mm-hmm. So it kind of maybe transferred the energy so that I wouldn't be so, maybe caught up in that explosive anger.
Yeah, I heard that. So let's talk about creating the program and what has it done up until today.
Well, that second year after the work projects, we identified 15 young men, and we tried a new project, which was let's see how well they do with working with audio, because obviously we were working with a church. We many times did a Saturday praise in the park and stuff like that. We would take the equipment from the church down there, set it up, and everything else. So get the guys out there. And so, since we had already had funds, and we just kind of moved that towards the next project.
Okay.
So the next year we got refunded, and those boys took on it in like less than 6-7 months. They were doing some amazing things. So technology was not as advanced as it is now. So they actually had to know a lot of the very manual things about the trade-off between analog and digital.
Ah, okay.
Because they were just moving into the digital era. And so these young men were also, we actually had a small partnership with Baylor University and also McLennan Community College to send us in interns that needed community hours anyway for their graduate.
Okay.
And they were so happy to do that with the young men. So, we had middle-aged school boys that were getting gigs doing sound or doing lights or doing live recordings when they were 12 and 13 and 14 years old. They were, we had them in uniforms, and they would show up to a location, and pretty much we even have different ranks.
Wow.
So some of them were actually at a director level, so they could actually approach the person who is,
the program director or whatever.
And then move into the next level of audio and video reinforcement.
See, this is so powerful. So I just want to be clear so people understand exactly what you're saying. This is like heavy. You and your partner went out and scouted what they would call high risk children, youth. And you brought them into an environment where they could learn a trade without nobody having to pick them up, drop them up. Just they're learning a trade and preparing them for the new generation of technology. And that's heavy.
And it happened in 2000. Well, it actually happened in 1997, 98, 99.
Yeah.
From that point, we were not as funded.
Okay.
And as you understand how things can be with churches, we move more to a for-profit environment.
For sure.
And we're able to still keep some of the young men on, keep them moving forward.
Right.
So that they became their own independent contractors.
Nice.
Into, audio capturing, audio development, audio installation. Particularly, there's one young man right now who's, a couple of them.
Yeah.
One young man is, he's servicing most of the Houston, mid-Texas, San Antonio, Dallas area for anything from churches into stadiums right now.
Wow. It's okay. So little to no funding, right? Little to no funding, and you're creating and you're helping basically trades. Like, ain't nobody in debt. Like, they're learning the trade, and they're taking life to an entire another level. Because one thing about it is, when you have productions and you have concerts and you have, television, media, podcasts, all these different things, there's always somebody behind the scene. It has to be somebody pushing the buttons. Absolutely. And making the sound balanced, and it's so many things go into that. And you guys went and brought young men who were considered high risk and started changing their lives. From a dream.
It wasn't really all that difficult, and I don't even talk about it like that because I don't want to make it be. It isn't. It's just doing what you do naturally. Just bring somebody else along with you. talk to their parents, make some sort of arrangements of accountability, and then you just actually, get some other brothers who understand what surrogacy means.
Okay.
The selflessness of surrogacy.
Wow.
Because that's a difficult thing.
That's
to
a
do,
different. Yes, it is.
Yeah, because everybody wants to be an uncle later on.
Yeah. Big facts. You're like, hold on. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, so that is what Yamo is.
Yeah, that's the heart of Yamo. Now,
That's the
I do
heart,
have
okay.
to say, it has morphed quite a bit. Getting to Houston, I have to say, is just like I said, it's kind of followed my life. I have to admit, I got sidetracked. I got a little bit intimidated.
Yeah.
Being in Houston, knew I couldn't command the school systems like I felt like I,
For sure.
did there. So I moved more towards the music. Obviously, I play music.
And he good, y'all.
And I might.
What? Fire. Let's go.
But just that part, as well as also thinking about my development as a child and saying,
Yes.
The whole thing about music is that the kids that didn't have my training had a love and passion for that music to the point that they made themselves learn the instrument before they even knew the notes
Wow.
that was on the instrument, and they were playing it.
Uh-huh.
And then they knew what key they was in. And then they figured
like
out
me.
how it developed and everything. But they were already playing it.
It was already playing it.
And I'm saying to myself, oh, well, I'm so much better than them because I have 10 years of development. And
Right.
I started trying to play, and I didn't have the rhythm. I couldn't do any
Wow.
of that.
Wow.
And so I realized that there's something about the dynamic activity of a person's will.
Yes.
And then a person who really desires to become connected to anything musical, because
Right.
we are musical beings.
We are.
So once you hear certain things in you and you're making a musical sound, the next thing is to pick up an instrument. And then as you find your way on that instrument, you start expressing yourself. Either one or two things can happen. You get engaged because you like it, or you get frustrated.
Right.
Because you just can't do what you hear in your head.
Yes. Yes.
I try to go now at the placement of going that route, making that path not so hard, the other path so hard, because getting frustrated just means that you just don't have the tools to just kind of put it together. And it's kind of like what Guitar Hero did to the game.
Okay.
Guitar Hero made it easy for you to pick up an instrument and match the tones with what you saw.
Oh, okay.
And so
okay.
now you have people who can graduate from Guitar Hero right on into possibly thinking that they can play. Only because of matching tones.
So playing by ear, but also playing by sight.
So,
I like that.
So most of our children do suffer with ADHD. I have to say, and most of us as people probably do suffer with that because we're so used to information passing in front of our eyes at milliseconds at one time that did not used to be. It used to be Polaroid pictures. You looked at it and you looked at it.
And you have to break down what you see in.
Exactly.
Facts.
Exactly.
That's so deep.
That's so deep. So in teaching, I teach alphanumeric and tonic at the same time. So
now, this is what you're teaching to all.
So now I'm moving more into music. So I'm introducing young people into music in the science way, in a very organic way.
Okay.
And then I show them how to read afterwards. Kind of like how you do a child, child imitates you talking. They figure out you're talking back with them. Okay, I got this thing going. Then you give them something to read.
Wow.
So that way.
Your organization is basically feeding the youth through media and teaching. Let me be clear. And teaching through media and now music. Everything that you grew up with. And it's all going full circle. I love that. The most important thing that I like is that you're targeting the youth, but you're not limiting yourself to other things as well. Now, this is going into one of the fun things that I like to talk about. You playing the bass. Mm-hmm. When you are on stage, what do you see? What do you see yourself giving the children when you get off of stage? Because when we're on stage, we're playing the music, we're creating this moment. Do you see yourself like, okay, I know that when I get back to the kids, this is what I'm going to show them. I found something new, because you're very melodic when you're playing.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Like, are there some licks when you're when you're playing? You're like, oh, I can't wait to get back and show this to the kids, because you're a natural.
Yeah, I think we there are times where I'm almost embarrassed to show myself in performance in front of the kids.
What?
Because I perform in so many different ways with them when I'm with them personally.
Okay.
And so, but at the same time, yeah, we do share some of my footage, and I do think it's more of a thing that I want them to understand, that it is a passion.
Yes.
As well as a profession.
Yes. Yes.
And those two can be in the same place.
Facts.
Facts. And it doesn't have to be as hard as people are making it. Mm-hmm. The hard part is what energy and what time you put in, what it is that you will.
True.
Your will in that process is the thing that makes those things happen.
So true. Mm-hmm. That's so true. Like, what do you see? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years with Yamo?
I hopefully would like to revisit some of its origins. I would love to be able to see more of the work project to come back.
Okay.
I have to say that I am in agreement with a lot of other brothers that a lot of our boys are effeminate.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because there are certain things that are very redeeming about masculinity.
Okay.
And all of it isn't toxic.
Facts.
And because of that, I think some of our young men are afraid to assert themselves in areas that they possibly could.
Okay.
Helping them being around men, and then men developing men. Even for an example, I was telling my brother over there that we're now doing. I'm actually doing a little bit of fence job working with my son-in-law now. Awesome. He's the same one who works as a director with our music program, and now I'm in his capacity because he's showing me. But 2 of our students are homeschooled, and because they're homeschooled, and because their fathers and even moms like the way that we are interacting with the young men. Mm-hmm. One of them is actually, out with us doing some of the grunt labor at different times.
Wow.
Where he
so you're putting the hands to work.
So he puts in a couple of hours.
Nice.
And gets a chance to be around his 2 instructors.
Nice.
In a different capacity.
Nice.
Just kind of, working on work ethic type of things.
I like that.
Because
it's needed these days.
Yeah,
kids be lazy.
Yeah,
they don't want to go outside. They, if they do go outside, it's to go to the car and go right back in the house.
Right.
Like, there's no physical labor. There's no excitement into getting your hands dirty.
Right.
And I'm a country girl. I mean, I need a man that's going to get dirty. Now, my man will pay for somebody to get their hands dirty, but he will get his hands dirty, too.
Still, the bottom line is
he will change a tie.
At least you know what to do.
There you go.
At least you know what to do.
I love that. So, so if someone is looking to get their child mentored or to learn something about music, I mean, if they're looking to get their child involved, where should they go?
I'm going to make it real simple.
Please.
It'll be better for them to, because we always like to introduce the program to them either personally or like to get a feel on the type of child that we'll be dealing with. So
okay.
It'd be better if they submit or just give us a holler at yamoedu@gmail.com.
Right down the bottom screen, y'all.
yamoedu@gmail.com.
yamoedu@gmail.com. Y'all check it out. What do you consider good music?
I think any music that tries to go back to as close to the beginning electronic instruments, right when the instruments turned electronic. And I say that because I'm listening to like guys like Anderson .Paak.
Yeah.
And Bruno Mars.
Oh, come on.
And I only mention them only because they seem to get it.
They get it.
That's
good
go
music.
Back to the times when the electric piano was a Wurlitzer or Fender Rhodes. And they play that instrument.
They play that, yup.
They go back and get the original Fender Jazz bass. You can see the guy that's on there is playing an old Fender Jazz bass. You know, they're getting one of the old Fender guitars. Bruno Mars or somebody else is playing one of the old drum sets. In other words, they're recognizing the fact that at one period of time, music came together, made sense, funky, soulful, had all the smooth things that are happening right now, but it moved you in a way that it told a story.
Yes.
And musically, it told a story.
Yes.
And lyrically, it told a story.
Yes.
And even if it was about, something that's, sexual healing, even if it's something like that, it still told a story along with it.
Bruno Mars' last album was so fire. From Versace on the Floor to 24 Carats. I mean, I want to say, honey, we jammed that whole album. I was on shows in New Orleans, or that whole 4-hour drive, we would be jamming Bruno Mars the entire time from front to back, like calling out the instruments we were hearing, like breaking down, it was crazy. So thank you for that. One thing I can say about you, Morgan, is that you've always been so real. You've always been so raw. You've always stuck to your guts. Always. If it's good music, it's good music. If it's a bad note, Morgan gonna tell you. Morgan gonna be like, hey, y'all, calm down. Morgan gonna tell you it's a bad note. And I've always respected that about you. Just as long as I've known you, you've always been so true. So I would just say to everyone out there, if you're interested and you want, not if you're interested, get interested to keep your kids involved around the right people. Yamo organization is where they need to be. So put in those applications, let's keep the ball rolling. You don't and I'm not knocking anybody, but you can always go and pay a little money, to get little lessons. That's simple. But what about life? What about, there's always more to it than just the dollar, right? It is. And what you guys are doing is priceless. This is priceless. Now, you do music, you're teaching and you're creating entrepreneurs.
Hope to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's all said and done, ain't nobody out looking for no job because they got a job already. Yeah. They're hired as independent contractors. That's fire.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. I don't know whether you remember, there was a kid that I think I might have brought out to one of the Cecil shows.
Okay.
Big, tall dude, kind of frumpy guy, KJ. Now, that might have been before, but I would bring him out, and it was one of the Yamo kids, but he worked as an intern. Right at 15, 16-ish, made a decision that that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to continue on. He wanted to play guitar. He knew a bit about audio engineering.
Nice.
And that's what he wanted to do. And it was maybe a little bit more difficult for the parents of rap. I have all these, but at the same time, I was like, well, then, let them hang with you and what do you think? Start out with bass lessons or whatever. And, fast forward now, KJ is doing many installations in different churches for an Ableton systems.
Wow.
Which are kind of like live, multi-dimensional systems that run lights, that run sound, that run tracks. And he develops systems for churches that way.
He a one-stop shop.
He sets up podcasts. He plays bass, plays guitar.
All of this came and was birthed through Yamo.
I'm not going to take all the credit for it because he came in with a thirst. You know what I'm saying? He came in with a thirst, and he came in with a guitar.
Wow. and that's all he needed. He just showed up with the guitar and ready to go.
Thirst, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is just been so powerful. Your organization is taking the youth, making the family, and like you're building independent contractors and entrepreneurs and creatives. Shout out to the musicians out there. Yay! Yes. Look, music makes the world go around. I don't care what nobody say. Now, Morgan, we like to play a little game up in here. Yes, and I always tease Morgan all the time. I call Morgan Eddie Levert because to me he looks like Eddie Levert. I don't care what nobody say. It's true. So we're gonna play a little game. I want to throw that out there. So I'm gonna call out a few little names, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
All right.
Here we go. George Clinton.
President.
The president. The president. Look, I think I'm
when
on the road.
Things get right in this world.
Look, you better
That's
flow.
who will be a president.
When things get right, better believe it. Either him or Willie Nelson. Look. Okay. This next one is going to be deep, but it's still up on the fun line.
Okay.
Since you're from Baltimore. Mm-hmm. George Clinton, baby.
You already said George Clinton.
Did I say George Clinton?
Yeah, you already said it.
Peebo Bryson.
Oh, Peebo Bryson.
Yeah, that's what I want. Peebo Bryson.
Peebo Bryson, classy.
Classy.
Yeah.
Yes. What about? Let me go a little bit deeper. Joe Louis.
Joe Louis. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. I've learned so many different things about Joe Louis, but I have to say that he probably paved the way for the next level of heavyweight boxers. Yeah, especially brothers. He paved the way.
Big facts.
Yeah,
big facts. Martin Luther King.
Very misunderstood. Very misunderstood.
Very much so. Mm-hmm. But he made a major difference in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about his personal battles with moving something forward that he found later on, knew that he played a part in moving it away from. He had made the statement, I'm afraid that I have integrated my people into a burning building.
Wow.
And that's, that's fact.
Facts, big facts.
And he recognized that the empowerment that we had came from our collective. Mm-hmm. All of us weren't in ghettos.
Facts.
That's what I was talking before we got on, all of us weren't in ghettos.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a communal monies that were flowing between us. And there were many, many, many more Wall Street, Tulsa Wall Street situations because of our independence. And that part, all of that movement of that monies moved out into other communities, and we've never been able to recoup that again. And I think, and Martin Luther King saw that. And some of his last speeches, I would love for people to uncover and listen to the whole thing, because he actually is doing an actual last lecture instruction on what actually is going on in our country right now to this day.
Wow.
So I'd suggest people, especially the last one that he did, it was 1 year to the date before he was assassinated. He made a speech. So I think it was very interesting that he was assassinated that next year on that same exact date.
Wow.
Amazing speech that he made.
Yeah, I better Google. Do your research, all right? Morgan, my longtime friend, my amazing brother in the music business for centuries. It's been a pleasure to have you.
You tripped me out, Barbie. You tripped me out. Because I'm gonna have to say this on your show.
What is it?
I said to Anthony, I was like, Anthony, man, she's a natural at this. And he's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Because it's it always had been you. I mean, when you were with the other interviewer, you were talking about how you're this way all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, it's real.
It's true.
It is real.
Thank you.
And the fact that you do this in a natural type of way, and you bring out the best in people in just this little bit of space of time.
Thank you.
You know, I appreciate everything that you've evolved into.
Thank you.
And I look forward to all the things that's going to be
Morgan, don't make me cry up in here.
I'm serious. You and Anthony, I'm trying to tell you on the real.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It means so much coming from you. I love you so much, and we're going to do so many more amazing things. Yeah. This is not the end. This is not the end. You guys, y'all going to see Morgan a lot more. Don't worry. There's a lot of major collaborations that I can't wait to connect you with some amazing people that are on the same mission as you, and they're accomplishing the same things as you are. May not be on your level, but I'm gonna connect y'all so y'all can make some stuff shake together, because I think together is so much more powerful than divided. And so I'm ready to do this.
Yeah, me too.
Y'all stay tuned. It's your girl Mikhail Rose here with the one and only, the king of Yamo organization, guys, Mr. Morgan. Thank you so much for gracing us today.
Thank you.
All right, guys, Iconix Radio, that is it for today. Y'all stay tuned. We're going to see you on the next episode of Iconix Radio. Bye.